Greetings all. Sisu is a Finnish action movie. It's fantastic.
He was a Finnish commander. He lost his home and his family in the war. He became a one-man death squad.
So we get to see a terrific action movie. Lots of Nazis getting killed, shot, stabbed, blown up, etc. We get almost no dialogue from the hero, the central character, Atami.
Any last words? I didn't think so.
That isn't all right at the end, when we get his one little sequence of lines which are fantastic, and that's at the end, but we'll come to that. It reminds me a bit of the original Mad Max movies, actually. The first one, Mad Max with Mel Gibson. Apparently there were only 16 lines of dialogue, and 2 of them were the same. I only came for the gasoline. Then Mad Max 2, Mel Gibson apparently only speaks for 2 minutes. So a good pedigree there. All right, so Sisu, the title. I think the original title of the movie was Sisu the Immortal. So what does Sisu mean? There's no translation in English. There's no literal translation of this Finnish word. In the movie, they have a go at trying to explain this, and one of the female characters, a Finnish lady, says, no, it's impossible to translate. It does not mean immortal. The opening of the movie, though, presumably for us non-Finnish speakers, does make an attempt to describe what Sisu means. And they say, a white-knuckle form of courage and unimaginable determination. And that is kind of what we see in this movie. So what's the story? It's the end of World War II, and the Nazis are moving through the north of Finland, through Lapland, escaping to Norway, and following a scorched earth policy on the way through, destroying everything on their path. Now, our hero is Atami Korpi, played by Jorma Tumila, and he is a Finnish army. He's an ex-commando, and he's a gold prospector. But his family were killed by the Russians. Finland has a long history of problems with being invaded by various countries, including Russia, and they killed his family. So in return, he killed over 300 Russians by himself and was pretty much left alone by the military commanders as a free agent because he was so effective and single-minded. And the Germans find out about this later and make the mistake of not leaving him alone as they were told to by their commanding officer. Now, as a prospector, he is out there with his horse and his dog, and he finds some gold panning for it in the river, realizes there must be a deposit nearby, and comes across a seam of pure gold, or gold nuggets. Digs it out, but now he needs to get it somewhere where he can change it for money, which would be Helsinki, way far down to the south. So he sets out on that journey and encounters Germans on the way. Now the first company commander he comes across actually lets him pass, but then they go back to chase him when they hear and come back to check out that Atami has killed the next group of Germans who realized that he had gold and tried to take it from him and kill him, and he killed all of them instead. So now the company commander sends this first German group with a tank, as well as several trucks and a motorcycle and sidecar, to go chase down Atami. They find a gold nugget left on the body of one of the soldiers. So they figure he's found the gold, so that's what they want. It's the end of the Second World War. They want to get out, they want to look after themselves, so the commander's pretty smart. The movie's got some great lines in it. The German soldier, after they've been attacked by Atami, then one of the German soldiers asks the Finnish lady, so do you really think he's immortal? And the lady says no.
No. He just refuses to die.
Great one. And then the final line, there is other lines, but the final line right at the end as well is worth waiting for. Again, I'm not going to spoil it right now. It's got some really good unexpected moments, like when they finally think that they've killed him, when the Germans think they've killed Atami. They've hung him. Just a side note here, hung is like strung up by the neck. Hanged is where the floor falls away from you and you fall and your neck is snapped. So they don't do that to him, they basically lynch him, pulling him up on a rope. So then they've hung him and they think he's dead. and the tank driver actually removes his hat, and then the German commander follows suit, and then the third guy, who's the sniper, Wolf, he actually puts his rifle into a respectful position as well. So it's ironic that they respect this strong, tough guy they think is dead. I've been to Finland a couple of times, spent a lot of time with Finns, and I was on a ship to the Antarctic for several months, a Finnish ship, and they are tough SOBs, the Finnish, and they have a very dry sense of humor, very stoic, and they're tough people. However, I think this film does stretch things a little bit too far on occasion. Like, he manages to stay underwater seemingly for, like, I don't know, half an hour at least in real time. And as he's killing the German soldiers who try to retrieve the gold from the bottom of the river, that he's breathing the oxygen coming out of their dying lungs. I think that's going a little bit too far. He was hung, not hanged, as we say, so okay, somehow that's not explained. If he had a metal collar on or something, but it's a little bit far-fetched that he just doesn't die when they have hung him. Although the way that he ensures his survival after the Germans have left him behind is horribly realistic and gruesome. That is tough. And it gets a little bit extreme at the end. He uses his pickaxe in order to jump from the motorcycle going one direction to board. It looks like a DC-3. It's supposed to be, I guess, a Russian or German aircraft. I'm not sure, but it looks like a copy of the DC-3. And there is a Russian aircraft that's pretty close copy to the DC-3, so maybe that's what it is. But it's not really possible to be doing 40, 50 kilometers an hour one direction on a motorcycle, and then a plane flying over you doing minimum 180 to 200 kilometers an hour going the other way, and you somehow use your pickaxe to hitch a ride. Physically, that's not going to be possible. That's a huge change of momentum. If you were able to hold onto the axe even, it would probably rip your shoulders out. But anyway, it's a movie. Then he gets on board. There are brilliant characters. Tomilla is amazing. He is demonstrative, he's engaging, he's emotional even with no dialogue. Fantastic casting and wonderful performance. Absolutely loved him, rooting for him the whole way through. Commander Heldorf, the German commander, is played by Axel Henning. He does an amazing job as well, and he's not one-dimensional, he's not totally bad. He does let Atami pass the first time, and he's going by on his horse, doesn't stop him. He takes off his hat when they think they've killed him. He's out for himself. It's the end of World War II, and they know they're in trouble, especially SS and senior Nazis. So he's looking for the gold just to get out. We care about the German soldiers, the poor bastards that get sent into the minefield and then into the river where Atami's going to kill them. They're not all like totally evil. Like, nobody in the world is totally bad, totally good. So we care about the poor Germans, especially the ones stepping on the landmines. Wolf, the sniper, played by Jack Doolan, he deserves everything he's going to get. He does get at the hand of the captive women. But somehow I'm relieved that he didn't die, and Atami didn't kill him either. And he doesn't know that it's Wolf who got the orders from the German High Command when they radio in after they find Atami's dog tags, who he is, and they're told to just leave him alone. And that's what he says they should do. I'm not sure if Atami doesn't kill him because he can't be bothered, he's tired, or he knows that the women are coming and the women will take care of him. But it's a bit strange that I actually didn't want him to die. I didn't want the women to go unrevenged, and it was with some relief and irony where we see him hanging on the end of the tank barrel at the end. Even when we come to the end, the final fight, full of wounds and damage and extremely fatigued, full of his own self-treated stitches, Atami is losing the fist fight with the German commander, Heldorf. And we wonder how is he going to survive. He's the hero, he has to, of course. And it's great, I think, that he defeats him with a very clever idea, which he's shown all the way through. The way he fights the Germans, it's not just brute force. So he kills them with cleverness, not brute force, and I like that a lot. In terms of what happens in the film, the violence, it out Tarantinos Tarantino. There is explicit violence, dismemberment. There's no clean bang bang you're dead. There's limbs off, there's heads crushed. It's a lot like Rambo, particularly Part 4. Which was a film from which the writer-director Jamari Yolanda drew inspiration. It's anti-war in the sense that it shows the gruesome details, especially when using high-caliber machine guns and mines, anti-personnel mines. They are horrible devices. And some people would say that this kind of graphic representation is promoting war, but I don't think so. I think when you see it that bad, you cannot romanticize it, you can't glorify it, it's horrific. Guts hanging out, arms and legs blown off. No, it's having the opposite effect, so I applaud that. There's rumour of a sequel. There was pretty good critical reception, a kind of 70 to 80% average on Rotten Tomatoes, etc. It cost $6 million and made double that at the box office. So I think even Atami the Prospector would approve of that return. So, the end of the movie in that line. Atami makes it, he brings the gold into the bank, dumps it onto the cashier's table, and then he asks her,
Seteleitä. Isoja. Kiitos.
so in that process, possibly he's even stabilizing Finland's finances, the country's gold reserves at the end of the Second World War. I don't know if that's implied, but that's the first thing that sprang to my mind as well. A significant gold deposit would be just what you need at the end of the war. So all around, terrific movie. Tongue-in-cheek, just fun, really well acted, and a great job. Great job, guys.
Sisu! We might have a problem.